I first came to India 8 years ago. It was the first time that I'd seen real poverty. I knew even back then that the only way to end the poverty was through education, and so when I first heard about LRTT, I knew that that was their aim. All of us probably asked ourselves similar questions before we came out. Is this right for me? Should I be spending my summer doing this? I think we are all so pleased that we did make the decision to come.
So before we got to India, we did 2 training days. One was kind of a team building day where we did various different things about the trip, and another one was focusing on the coaching element, so how we're going to engage with teachers here and how best to give feedback in a constructive and valuable way, really.
We were learning about the culture that we were going into, getting to know the team that we'd be working with, and building on coaching skills, because that's something that we've been doing with the teachers here.
What appealed to me about the LRTT project was it seemed like something that was tried and tested, that there had already been an impact last year, and I've been through a lot of training and been quite privileged in that respect, and that it'd be worthwhile whilst I had the opportunity to give other people some of the experiences I've had.
I really love visiting different countries. I've always wanted to visit India, and it seemed like a really perfect opportunity to come and do something really positive in the summer.
Hi, I'm Julia. I teach maths.
I live in London and teach in London.
I'm the head of my department.
So last year Ben and I were both in India. We really didn't know what to expect, and it turned out to be one of the best months ever. Obviously met lots of great people, and my own teaching improved so much as a result of it.
It was so rewarding that we felt that it was almost like a job unfinished, that we had to come back, see how much the schools had progressed and take it to the next stage.
When we arrived, we saw classrooms that were almost empty of resources, displays, things to use within their lessons. So we're having to be quite creative with the ideas that we're giving the teachers. We weren't able to go back to the type of teaching that we can do in England, where we so often rely on our interactive whiteboards and the amount of even just paper and pencils that we use throughout the day.
I tried writing in chalk at the conference days, and I was covered in it by about 5 minutes in, so it's a really different kind of style of teaching. But actually, when you kind of think about it and you think a bit creatively, there are a lot of things that you can take from kind of the UK environment and transfer over here without the technology, and it's not as big a barrier as you first might think.
I was nervous about it before, having not led any training, but they're so receptive and so warm, and so just happy to have you there that any nerves you have about doing it are instantly gone, aren't they? Because they're so happy and they're so involved with what you're doing.
Even though they don't necessarily have all the resources that we would have in the UK, they're not going to let that hold them back. They're here to give their children opportunities and to make as much of a difference to their school, to their community as possible. And that's inspirational. I'm not in a position within school and my career where I would observe another teacher and give that feedback. Coming here has given me the first experience of that, and although that seems quite early for me to be doing it, the opportunity to kind of do that so early on in my career I think has been really positive. It's been more helpful to my development as a teacher than I first anticipated. You're here and you're able to make a difference, and you're seeing things that you wouldn't have seen otherwise, and that change your perspective when you're going back and teaching in September. I think this has definitely given me a new context for my teaching for next year.
There's people here, Indian teachers and people from the Punjab region, that there's no way I would ever have met them or come into contact with them, and they're such warm, friendly people.
You don't realise the impact that you do have to the teachers and to the children. It's put it in perspective of how lucky I am to have the classroom that I've got, have the children that I've got, have the resources, the computers and the internet at such easy disposal.
So I really hope that this project continues, ensuring that the learning that we have started is continued and not forgotten, and it's built upon in future years. But it needs people to come out here to be dedicated year after year, again and again.
So we've got people from primary, we've got people from lots of different specialisms in secondary, we've got a couple of the girls who are head of department, and it's that diversity I think that actually makes it work.
I think no matter who you are, you'll get something from it. If you've got the time and you're available, then I would suggest you give it a go.
It's a wonderful experience where you can feel like you've come out here and seen India, but you've also made a difference.